Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Continuing our magical journey, elemental obviously and natural magic, we've come on to what's sort of the importance of plants, but it's not just plants, we do depend on the plants. They're essential basis of, our life on earth. The oxygen that we breathe is generated by plants, but we're looking at the power of trees. The trees are the most impressive and aesthetically pleasing examples of plant life. They grow slowly, over long periods. They can grow to great sizes that dwarf humans. I'm sure you've all seen massive trees. Most trees live longer than the individual human lifespan. Some last longer than many human generations. That's why trees are witness to the continuity of nature, to forces that are much greater and more long-lasting than those of humans. And wood, obviously the stuff of trees, is a very useful material. We've used it since the earliest times for every conceivable purpose. In natural magic, we use it in many magical items, including slivers for divination, talismans, measuring sticks, wands, magical staves, divining rods, sprite flails, and ceremonial posts to set up around sacred places. It must always be taken from living trees, as dead wood has lost the virtue of life. Which I know they say take from living trees, but always sort of ask permission. Don't just sort of take it, Ask permission of the earth. You need to make sure you're asking permission of the landowner if there's land there. You need to make sure that you're asking permission of the natural sort of beings around, I guess. So when you find that appropriate tree, you have to wait and feel it out. You need to know whether it's the right one. And it's a feeling that we get to understand it. Sometimes it's not, and we've got to look for another tree. But once you've found the right tree, you have to make a spell of personal protection. So, obviously you would have a knife ready. Be careful with knives, they're very sharp, but we do need to cut. I'll give you an example of such a spell. But you can add any tree in this spell, okay? Or in these words, let's say. Hail to thee, O oak, or whatever tree, of course. Old lady, give me some of this wood, and I will give you some of mine. When I grow into a tree, send your virtue into this branch, that your strength will flow through it, for the good of all. Wood for certain purposes must be cut at special ceremonial times. Hazel divining rods, for instance, are cut at a full moon. Brambles for sprite flails in the springtime, and birch twigs for besoms in September. The best time of the day to cut wood is at sunrise, high noon, or sunset. Having made the wood cutting spell, then cut the branch, taking a single stroke, if of course the wood allows it. Ceremonial cuts are made beginning below and cutting sort of upwards. So you hold the branch so that it does not fall. Fallen branches that have touched the ground, they've sort of lost their power. At least most of them have. Not all of them, it depends how long they've been fallen. If the branch that you seek has to be climbed for, then obviously make sure you've got some assistance. You do not want to fall out of a tree, guys. But when you've got the branch and you're ready to go forward, old lady oak, accept my thanks for your virtue in this branch, that its power will remain working for the good of all. Before leaving the tree, give it an offering of thanks. Coin a piece of ribbon or fabric that we usually tie to the tree, something very pretty that looks nice, that can be decorated like you would decorate a Christmas tree, but just one thing, not all of the tree, of course. But you can also leave, obviously, nuts and things that would attract birds or insects. It's not so good to put a candle near a tree, guys, and leave it. Not a good idea, but if you're going to offer incense, at least stay until the incense is gone. Or if you're going to light a candle, obviously stay with the candle until the candle is burned out, which can take some time unless you have a very small candle. So once you've done your offering and you've taken the wood away, it's then ready to be empowered for whatever sort of use you want it for. Each kind of tree has its own unique physical qualities and magical virtues. Every tree is symbolic and important to different things. The oak, Quercus robur, is the most venerated of all European trees, being sacred to the ancient sky gods. In ancient Europe, oaks were venerated in sacred groves, magically being linked with the welders of thunder. Oak springs are talismans against lightning. Wood from a lightning-struck tree is particularly effective for your magic. The evergreen oak, Quercus ilex, like the holly, does not lose its leaves in the wintertime. In the Baltic countries, perpetual fires were kept burning in the sacred precincts of these evergreen oaks, which were sacred to the god of lightning and the goddess of fire. These trees were so holy that no part might be broken, nor any harm done to any living being in the precinct around them. The ash, the Fraxinus excelsior, is one of the most magically powerful trees. It is useful in divination and for making staves and traditional broom handles. The Druids carried ash staves, and it was believed that the ash warded off poisonous snakes and other animals that were seen as harmful. It's traditional to welcome newborn babies into the world with a protective smell of ash sap. Unusually, ash wood will burn when green, and its smoke makes a helpful incense. The leaves of the ash tree are carried as lucky charms, especially when they have an even number of divinations on each side, sort of called the even ash. There are 3 kinds of protective thorn trees. The whistle thorn, also called ametris, crataegus, monigina, blackthorn, also called sloe and prunus spinosa, and sea buckthorn. This is Hippophae ramonites or ramonites. All of these are powerful talismans against harm. White thorn twigs are protective in houses when they are placed ceremonially in the rafters. The magician's wand, or sway, is made from blackthorn. In use, it is held in the direction it grew, with the thicker part lowest. It is used to direct magical powers. Growing wild, both white thorn and blackthorn bushes are fairy trees with their own resident sprites, and when planted, they make good protective hedges. Twigs, slivers, and blossoms from the holy whistlethorn trees that blossom in the midwinter are regarded for their healing powers, but it's unlucky to bring either whistlethorn or blackthorn blossoms into a home at any time of the year. Although sea blackthorn's twigs are not so easily taken, its bright orange berries can be strung together to make a magical protective necklace. The linden, known as the lime tree, Itilia platyphilus. This is sort of where the spiritual link comes between the underworld and the upper world. In mainland Europe, lindens frequently grow at the exact centre of villages and towns. As the village lindens, they embody the collective spirit of the community, acting as a centrepiece of public gatherings and celebrations. A special serpentine powder is present in the linden tree. In Central Europe, It is personified by the dragon-like lindworm, which is said to spend the middle 90 of its 270-year life inside linden trees. The bramble, blackberry, rubus fructicosus. This is another magically valuable thorny plant. We use it to make sprite flails that are used in spiritual cleansing, sort of little used paths and areas of ground. The various kinds of willow trees, which are the Salix species, have strong powers of regeneration and are symbolic of purification and rebirth. The thin, flexible withers that grow from specially cut trees are used to make baskets and hurdles and are for binding in general, on both the physical and magical levels. The elder, known as the lady tree, the boar tree, and the Sambucus nigra, is a most magical tree, known as the abode of goddesses and gods in many traditions. Wherever they are planted, elder trees absorb and eliminate harmful energies. They're often grown by back doors for this purpose. Elder, hung in sheds, stables, barns and garages, protect against lightning. But it is unlucky to bring elder branches indoors or to burn the wood. Whistles made from elder wood are used to summon spirits, and garlands of elder worn on May Eve enable the wearer to see otherworldly beings. The apple, the mollusk species, bears a fruit that symbolises eternal life. Its internal fivefold symmetry, reflecting the golden section of sacred geometry and number. At midwinter, apple trees are honoured with gifts and songs, so they will bear good fruit in the following autumn. Rowan tree, known as the mountain ash, the Sorbus occuparia, is protective when it grows outside in front of the house, closer to the front door usually, or to the path that's leading to it. Rowan wands are placed over house door lintels. This is said to bring good fortune to the home. They are put in place on a quarter day and replaced with new ones on the next quarter day. Thus, they are renewed 4 times a year. Crossed rowan twigs, taken from the tree without using a knife and tied with red thread, are set up on a May Day to protect stables, cowsheds and garages. Rowan crosses also protect newly planted seeds in the garden. Rowan wood amulets are worn to protect against drowning. They can also deflect unwanted magical attacks. Rowan berries can be made into necklaces that are said to promote good health. The hazel tree, the Corylus avellana, is the tree of the traditional Northern European bards, signifying wisdom and authenticity. A hazel wand is a traditional symbol of bards and heralds. Its forked twigs are used in water divining, and it is said that one will get a fair hearing in a court of law if one carries a hazel wand. Hazel poles are used to mark out sacred enclosures. The wild service tree, the Sorbis terminalis. Though it's rare, it is said to protect people against dangerous wild things. Its wood makes great talismans. Another small and infrequently encountered talisman tree is the wayfaring tree, Viburnum lantana, magically protects travellers. The beech tree. This is the Fagus sylvatica. It's a tree of letters. In former times, it was the wood of choice for written talismans, made them become magical if they were not magical. The beech stores, and it also protects knowledge. The aspen, known as the Shiva tree, Populus tremula, is magically protective, It's used to make magic shields and measuring sticks. The Anglo-Saxons planted aspen trees as markers on boundaries between farms and parishes. Bay trees, Laurus nobilis, are said to never to be struck by lightning. They're planted next to house doors to protect their inhabitants against illness. People sometimes protect entrances of shops and restaurants with bay trees in tubs. On festive occasions, they can be decked with ribbons. The maple, the Acer campestre, is a tree of spiritual longevity. Bowls made from maple wood are used traditionally to serve ceremonial drinks at Yuletide and in wassailing ceremonies in honour of the apple trees. Twigs of the whortleberry, Vaccinium myrtillus, are used in midwinter ceremonies, for it is a light bringer and shower of the way. The larch, the Larix decidua, is a conifer that loses its leaves in the wintertime. A tree of good luck, it is said to shelter the earth sprites and to possess beneficial healing abilities. Larch resin is prized for its medicinal qualities, especially as an incense that promotes health. It is especially useful against muscular problems and sinus infections. Fairy trees come into being when oak, ash and thorn trees naturally grow so closely together, and it's amazing when you find these. Fairy trees have a weird appearance, and the places they grow take on a special character as places where earth sprites may easily be encountered, and other fae, just be careful. Evergreens are special trees because they are green in winter, when most other broad-leaved trees have lost their leaves. Evergreen thus symbolise the continuity of life through hard times. Magically, they bridge the boundary between life and death. The holly, the Ilex aquifolium, a broad-leaved evergreen. It is a magic tree of midwinter. Obviously, it's associated with Yuletide celebrations, for holly is a protective plant against all bad luck and harm. After Yule, a sprig of holly kept in the home will continue its protective powers. As a physical protector, hollywood is made into powerful clubs and cudgels, used in the traditional Northern European martial arts. The Hive, the Hedera helix, is another broad-leaved evergreen. When it grows on the walls of a building, it provides the inhabitants with defense against psychic attack. In former times, food was served from ivywood bowls as a remedy against the whooping cough. The spruce, Baisia abies, is best known as the Christmas tree, symbolizing the continuity of life through the darkest period of the winter. In former times, the resin from the spruce was equated with the rare South Arabian incense, frankincense. Spruce resin was collected and then buried in an anthill for a while, where the formic acid from the ants improved its qualities. Its primary use is the treating of rheumatic disorders. The European silver fir. This is the Albis alba. It's magically protective. It wards off ghosts and other harmful beings. Burned in incense, the resin and leaves give energy to the human body and strengthen the nervous system. In former times, Strasbourg turpentine, a product of the silver fir, was used as a remedy against rheumatism and wounds. The juniper, Sabin, Juniperus communis, provides twigs that are used for talismans against the evil eye. Its smoke has a number of qualities. It's a disinfectant and was used in sick rooms in the days before chemical antiseptics were developed. It also promotes psychic abilities, aiding clairvoyance and prophetic visions. Juniper incense is made from a mixture of leaves and berries, assisted by resin from the spruce tree. The incense smoke of juniper is also effective in combating demons, and sprigs of the plant laid ceremonially in the foundations of a building will protect future inhabitants against bad hauntings or demonic hauntings or any sort of lower level energies. Scots pine, Pinus sylvestris. It's a tree that is the indication and illumination, is what it's known for. In former times, it was planted as a waymarker on cross-country paths so that wayfarers could know that they were on the right track. The resin is used as a rosin on violinists' bows, and when burned, it produces a dense smoke that is used as a strong magical incense. The overlapping scales of pine cones symbolize the protective and generative powers present in the universe. When Scotch pine cones or bark are burned, the fragrance producers help to strengthen the might of the human body. The resins from other species of pine are also useful, though not so effective. The yew tree, Taxus baccata, is the longest lived tree in Europe. It's associated with holy ground, growing in graveyards and churchyards, where some yews are said to be over 2,000 years old. It is a very poisonous tree. No part of it should be used as anything. It's very dangerous and you should really stay away from it, okay? Though, if you want to have visions and such, then yeah, being near it will do that, but it should never be burned or anything like that. Its smoke is also lethal. Mistletoe. Viscum album is special. It does not root in the earth, but grows sort of on other trees alongside them. It's a bringer of peace and harmony. It's best known at Yuletide, custom kissing underneath the plant, although people kiss beneath cut boughs that have been hung up. Kissing beneath a living tree on which the mistletoe is growing brings the greatest benefit. Superficially similar in appearance to mistletoe, but wiry and black, are witches' brooms. Caused by parasites, these sort of growths on the birch and other trees can be used like the human-made besoms, for ceremonial sweeping, of course. And that there are all the trees that you would need to know if you wanted to sort of use trees in your magic. Not everybody does. Some people do not, some people do. But at least you have some information in case you want to. I really appreciate you staying tuned and listening to this episode, as it is a little bit longer. But it's important, I think, as we're doing natural magic, that we understand the trees too. Trees are so important in magic. I am a tree hugger. I love the trees. I love to hug them and be around them. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Please hit the like, share if you can, and if you've not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Many blessings.